In today's video, I want to talk about what I'd love to see in a potential sequel to one of my favourite games of the past decade, Ghost of Tsushima. You know that feeling you get when a game comes out and it feels like it was tailor-made for you? That's how I felt when I first played Ghost of Tsushima. I grew up playing the Tenchu games, and later the Assassin's Creed series became a favourite in my teens. I've always loved historical settings, swords and stealth, so Ghost of Tsushima had it all. It felt like the Assassin's Creed formula perfected and infused with the nostalgia of Tenchu. A real dream come true. But that said, there's always room for improvement, and that's what sequels are all about. The first game has certainly set the bar high, so let's get into where we go from here. We're going to cover the setting for the game's story and how that can affect the gameplay, and how that can provide Sucker Punch new opportunities to innovate and refine the experience. In the first game, the story is set during the first Mongol invasion of Japan in 1274. It seems like an obvious choice for the next game to jump to the second Mongol invasion in 1281, led by General Arakan. Tsushima and Iki Island were attacked again, and there were also attacks against the mainland as well. But overall, the invasion was a failure due to the Mongols being overwhelmed by storms, which the Japanese called kamikaze, the divine wind. In my opinion, Jin's evolution and character development would be better served by skipping over the second Mongol invasion. Firstly, it avoids treading over the same story as the first game, and beyond that, it allows Jin to continue his journey into what I believe will be Sucker Punch's telling of the first shinobi, more commonly known as the ninja. If the first game was about Jin letting go of the way of the samurai, the second game should be about embracing the way of the ghost. And to tell that story, I think we need to leave Tsushima behind completely. Kyushu is a large island region of Japan, and it's still filled with natural beauty, and it has a lot more urban areas as well. Perfect for improving the parkour and traversal gameplay, which we'll get to later. It's many times the size of Tsushima, but Sucker Punch wouldn't need to use all of it to create a stunning map to rival the first game. I'd like to see a slightly older, even more experienced Jin that has perfected his way of the ghost. He now protects and serves the common folk in a Japan facing political turmoil, with feudal lords vying for power and land. The Mongol invasions have left many samurai without masters to serve, making them ronin, and it's historically accurate that they roam the lands, threatening the stability of the shogunate. Jin has become disillusioned with the romantic image of the samurai that he once so firmly believed in. The combat of the original game is, in my opinion, near flawless. It's challenging, engaging and diverse, but as I said, there is always room for improvement. I'll come back to the combat as it's least in need of an upgrade, so first let's talk about traversal. Tsushima was a stunning environment, but for the most part it lacked verticality. I'd love to see more urban areas to contrast the breathtaking natural scenery of Japan. It would give the sequel a new ambience and provide a playground for new features and tools. For anyone that's played the Tenchu games, you'll know that tools and your loadout are not only important but vital to how you went about completing your mission. But a standard piece of equipment was your grappling hook. Now Ghost of Tsushima also has a grappling hook, but it's limited in ways that the Tenchu one is not. In Tenchu, you could aim your hook and use it to scale any surface or ledge in its range. This, along with all the other tools at your disposal, gave you a huge amount of freedom in how you hunted for your targets. You could use it to find new paths, hidden passages, interiors, and more. I'm going to talk quite a bit about Tenchu actually, so strap yourselves in. You could use different weapons other than just your sword, like spears. You could move and hide bodies. You could perform contextual kills. You could listen to enemies through floorboards and surfaces, and drag enemies away, and even have the option to take them out non-lethally. There was a huge variety of skills that you could unlock, and it allowed you to customize exactly how you wanted to play. The first Ghost of Tsushima game does this very well when it comes to combat, but it could do better when it comes to traversal and stealth. In Tenchu, you can lay poisonous food down for guards to find and eat. You can mimic enemy voices to lure guards towards you. You can get assistance in combat from pets. You can learn advanced traversal moves such as faster sprint. You can place caltrops on the floor to delay pursuing enemies, extended jump, clinging to walls and moving along surfaces. Set off fireworks for large-scale distractions. Disguise yourself as an enemy. Survey enemies at a distance, and my personal favourite, you can use claws to cling to the ceiling and perform a really awesome stealth attack. This is in addition to many things that Ghost of Tsushima already has as well, such as smoke bombs, shurikens or kunai, the blow dart, and explosives. So it's very clear to me that Ghost of Tsushima takes a lot of influence from the Tenchu series, and yet there was just so much variety in the traversal and stealth in Tenchu that seems to be lacking in Ghost. There was also some wacky stuff in Tenchu as well, like a camouflage blanket, but that could be modernised into something like hiding within snow or mud, like Ghost Recon Breakpoint for example. Like I said, there was also a disguise tool in Tenchu, but it was fairly basic. Maybe they could take some inspiration from Hitman. And I'd also like to see features from other franchises like Assassin's Creed, such as being able to hide in the back of a wagon to infiltrate a base. I really just want to see a big expansion to the stealth gameplay in the Ghost of Tsushima sequel. Even things like being able to bribe guards, anything that will give stealth more depth, because while it served its purpose in the first game, it was relatively basic. And just one final side note, Tenchu has an awesome amount of customization. Many people were surprised when Sucker Punch announced Legends, the free online update that allowed 4 players to team up in a mythical setting. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm sure you'll probably know that I love co-op and online, and while I think Ghost of Tsushima has one of the best offerings for co-op that's currently available, I have a vision for how it could be expanded even further in a sequel. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I think the game should be set on Kyushu, and I think it should be called Ghosts of Kyushu. Not Ghost, Ghosts. And I'll explain why. In the single player, I'd like to see Jin training new ghosts and also working with characters like Yuna and Tomoya, so hence the plural. But it would also have a double meaning for the vision I have of multiplayer. Just imagine a fully immersive online mode similar to Red Dead Redemption 2. You create your own ghost, a student of Jin, and customize your playstyle with all the things that I mentioned earlier. You're free to explore the entire map, with Jin's Shinobi Dojo being your base of operations. You can team up with other players to take on contracts, take out corrupt warlords, bandits, ronin, and more. You could also take the hallucinogenic from Iki Island to gain access to horde modes that are mythical, like the original Legends mode, which would keep everyone happy. Both experiences would be available. I think there's a huge opportunity for PlayStation to have a first-party online world to rival something like GTA, set against the backdrop of feudal Japan. And as you might have guessed, yep, Tenchu did have online co-op back in the day. Obviously it's very dated now, but it was a lot of fun. And I'm going to leave you with a trailer for the original online mode so you can get a sense of how it worked. That's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.